Yuki Tsunoda is in a lot of trouble as Red Bull are actively looking to replace him, and this might come as soon as in the middle of the 2025 season. So, despite having activated their option on Tsunoda's contract in 2024 and preventing him from departing, Red Bull's long-term plans for him remain limited. The Milton Keynes club may replace the 24-year-old this season, with a strong candidate already established and backed by Helmut Marko. So, could Tsunoda be out next year? Who could replace him? And where does he go? With the 2025 season rapidly approaching, there are crucial aspects to consider in the driving market. Perhaps the most frequent source of driver conjecture is Red Bull and their second squad, VCARB. For nearly 18 months, Sergio Perez's future dominated the headlines. But now, it's Tsunoda who's in the spotlight. The decision to elevate Liam Lawson, while obviously significant, is unlikely to affect the ongoing merry-go-round at Milton Keynes and Faenza. Leaving aside Lawson's prospects versus Max Verstappen, there is another important consideration, where Yuki Tsunoda fits into the team's plans. Since Tsunoda began matching Pierre Gasly in 2022, the Japanese driver has served as an excellent reference at VCARB. In recent seasons, the Faenza-based team has relied on him to score the majority of its points. This is unlikely to change during 2025. Having said that, Red Bull has demonstrated little interest in marketing him. Despite his impressive performances against Nyck de Vries and Daniel Ricciardo, Christian Horner's team decided against promoting Tsunoda. Given the degree of Tsunoda's performance last year, Red Bull's opinion of him seems set in stone. In comparison, Red Bull appears to have overlooked Lawson's fight with Bottas at the Qatar Grand Prix. Similarly, little was reported when he showed Sergio Perez the middle finger in Mexico. These are more extreme versions of the occurrences that Tsunoda has frequently been chastised for. Christian Horner's research of the VCARB duo consistently indicated that Lawson was the preferable candidate to join the main team. With this in mind, Yuki Tsunoda is likely to look into alternative choices this year. Not only is this logical considering the scarcity of opportunities at Red Bull, but Helmut Marko has already identified a possible replacement for the Japanese driver, one that could step in at any moment next year, might it be needed. It is hardly an exaggeration to say that Red Bull's academy has not been maximized in recent years. Because of a combination of available talent and organizational decisions, their young athletes have often failed to make the transition to the main roster. With this in mind, their excitement for Arvid Lindblad is impressive. The 17-year-old will make his Formula 2 debut this season, after competing for the Formula 3 championship last year and finishing 4th. Red Bull is quite bullish about Lindblad, with Helmut Marko praising the academy driver on several occasions during the last year. Lindblad is also on the approach of obtaining the required super license points to compete in Formula 1. If he does well in F2 this season, it is not surprising that he will gain a spot at VCARB. Meanwhile, Christian Horner has recognized that maintaining Tsunoda beyond 2025 may be impractical. Despite providing a great yardstick against which Red Bull can evaluate other possibilities, their interest in Tsunoda is limited. After all, VCARB is a team created specifically for Red Bull applicants. Tsunoda's efforts have yielded little evidence that Red Bull is interested in elevating him. Although there are fewer options in the market, there should still be opportunities for Japanese drivers in 2025. Assuming a favorable offer comes in, Tsunoda might be one of the first drivers to sign with a new team this year. So where does he go? And does it make sense that Red Bull want to get rid of Tsunoda? Nevertheless, Yuki Tsunoda has expressed his satisfaction with his current position at Red Bull, but has admitted that Aston Martin is maybe on his radar in the future. Tsunoda has close ties with power unit manufacturer Honda, which will power the Silverstone-based team after they leave Red Bull in 2026, prompting speculation that he would join Aston Martin in the future. Tsunoda acknowledged that he may need to look elsewhere in the future, naming Aston Martin as a possibility, despite the fact that both seats are under contract with Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. Yeah, I mean, so far very happy with the VCARB, he said halfway through last season. I mean, now we're fighting like almost, sometimes like even P7 or P8, so I mean other options. And like probably now the top teams are pretty much taken. I mean, probably we're the strongest team in the midfield at least. We'll see. I think, obviously, especially when I'm in Red Bull, you want to always aim for Red Bull. But, if they don't want me, or they're not expecting me into the seat, yeah, if I've got an interesting offer that could be better than even VCarb or Red Bull, yeah, I'll think about it. But I also have a big loyalty to Red Bull, as without them I wouldn't be here, and obviously Honda as well. And speaking of Honda, maybe Aston Martin, but Aston also, they're taken by 2 drivers. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty open, but so far I'm happy with VCARB. This attitude has probably changed in recent weeks, after learning he would stay stuck at VCarb while seeing Lawson getting promoted to Red Bull with only half a season of experience. So, could this be Tsunoda's last full or even half season within the Red Bull family? What do you think? But that isn't all, as there is another driver on track who is already at the tipping point of being sacked before even starting the first race in 2025. And that is Jack Doohan, who has just had his first start ever in Formula 1 in the last race of the 2024 season. Alpine spent the bulk of 2024 at the centre of a competitive and ever-changing transfer market. Even after declaring that Jack Doohan would complete Alpine's 2025 lineup, rumours circulated that Alpine was in talks with Franco Colapinto. Executive advisor Flavio Briatore has addressed this, and Doohan won't like his comments one bit. During the last stages of last year's campaign, Alpine's interest in Franco Colapinto expanded carefully. The French team's enthusiasm for Colapinto peaked following the US Grand Prix, where the Argentine secured a second points finish for Williams. At the time, Jack Doohan had already been confirmed for the 2025 season. However, when Alpine hired Doohan, Colapinto was still competing in Formula 2 and hence not on the team's radar. This clearly altered as the year continued, with Flavio Briatore considering Colapinto as a viable alternative for the squad to pursue. Given Doohan's stated contract with Alpine, there was significant suspicion regarding suggestions that a last-minute change to their lineup was on the cards, especially after Doohan was granted a Formula 1 start, essentially fulfilling Alpine's contract obligations, paving open the way for a shock swap. When asked if he ever negotiated with Colapinto, Flavio Briatore replied openly after last season's conclusion. "Yes, that's true," he said. "I am always looking for the best options for us. Gasly did a great job last season, and we are starting the new season with him and Jack. But who knows what will happen? With Paul Aron, we also have a strong reserve driver under contract," Briatore added. It is uncertain how close Franco Colapinto came to securing an Alpine seat. Perhaps the largest impediment to a deal was his previous contract with Williams. Unsurprisingly, the financial cost of signing him away from James Vowles' team was enormous. Given the results and sponsors Colapinto has brought to the squad in such a short period of time, Williams clearly values the 21-year-old. As a result, Briatore is believed to have found the Grove-based outfit's asking price too exorbitant. The Williams driver's late-season mistakes were also expected to harm his chances. Despite the accolades he earned after winning points in Baku and COTA, his subsequent crashes proved expensive, not only for the team, but also for Colapinto's market worth. The Argentine's mishaps occurred at the worst possible time. Although Briatore was seen speaking with Colapinto as late as the Qatar Grand Prix, it is believed that a deal became increasingly out of reach. Of course, things will change this season. Colapinto will be aggressively seeking an F1 spot. Crucially, his Williams deal is unlikely to hamper negotiations before 2026. Briatore has made it clear that he expects the best from his driver pairings, which means rookie Jack Doohan will not have much breathing room in the early rounds. Making predictions about how Alpine will do during F1's silly season is usually tough. With that said, if any team is going to make daring changes, it's the one led by Flavio Briatore. And that could mean we could see Colapinto in an Alpine very soon, and who knows, he might even have a look at Tsunoda as well. So who will get replaced first next season? And which driver will be the first to join the grid in 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.